So now we are going to start. So today is a very special day, right? Today is the Uposatha that ends the hot season in India. So we still go with the Buddhist calendar like that. It's called Gimhana. So once the hot season, the last Uposatha, it's the last full moon of the hot season, that marks the end. And from tomorrow starts the rainy season. Well, it's kind of right for here. We've been having rain and it's cold. So it's a good time to go on a retreat. So this is the time of the year in the whole world, the Buddhist world. There is this 3-month rains retreat called Vassa or rains retreat. So we will be on more meditation, less work, no projects kind of thing, and more time in seclusion and practice. So this is a really nice time to just remember around the world there will be many thousands of monastics, right? In so many places meditating any time of the day, right? You know, because different countries, different time zones. So globally, there will be a lot of meditation happening, which is also really great for all of you as well, like all the lay people. Also to remember, even though you have work to do and your life doesn't really change, still you can remember this is a good time and to make more use of this time when all the Buddhist monastics are on a retreat. So, and then, so also very special, as you can see, we have 4 nuns here. So we are all bhikkhunis. So according to the Buddha, for it to be a sangha, a community of decision-making bhikkhunis, you need at least a minimum of 4. So now we are 4, which is very special, right? So we are 4 nuns spending the 3 months rains retreat here at Santi. So let me introduce some of them. You know some of the nuns anyway, but anyway, I'll let you know. Venerable Nirodha here, Ayya Nirodha. And then there is Venerable Therika, you all know. And myself, Ayya Karunika. And this is Venerable Therika or Ayya Therika. She came from Sri Lanka. Some of you may know her. She's quite a well-known with a meditation teacher and a Dhamma teacher. Quite a good reputation of her is being heard. She has given retreats at Jana Grove and also here in Sydney. So we are also very fortunate and happy to have you here with us for the 3 months. And we very much look forward to meditating together, discussing Dhamma together, and practicing together. So this is just a little bit for people to know what's going on because it is a special time. And just to let you know that we will be having the retreat period officially ends on the 7th of October. I think that's the full moon. But we will having the big celebration, which is called Katina, the end of rains retreat ceremony on Sunday, the 12th of October. So just telling it ahead of time so you can keep the day off and come and join us. That is when lots of people come, and it's quite a special occasion. And we will also have a Katina robe and lots of things happening. So just to say that as well. And today I would like to invite Venerable Therika to please do the guided meditation for our group and everybody here in the room as well. So I'll pass the mic to. Okay, all right. So we can all meditate.
Most Venerable Bhikkhuni Sangha, I seek permission from all of you. Dear Dhamma devotees, let's start guided meditation session. Thank you so much, Ayya Karunika. You gave me this opportunity to do guided meditation session. I'm so glad to do all together. First of all, pay your proper attention to your body. Be relaxed. Pay your proper attention to your whole body. Bring your mind to the present moment. That is very important. I'm here now. Relax your body. Relax your mind. I'm here. How do you feel your body? Pay your proper attention to your whole body, head to toe. Pay your proper attention to your mind. What is happening right now? You can see thoughts are arising and passing away. Please focus your mind. Thoughts are arising and passing away. Whatever thoughts arise in your mind, just see as it is. Maybe good thoughts or bad thoughts. Whatever thoughts arise in your mind, thoughts are arising and passing away. See the nature of your mind. So arising and passing away. is this mind belongs to you? No. Only a thought process. See the thought process. There is no I, no me, nothing. Just thoughts are arising and passing away. Don't attach to any thoughts. Just see as it is. When you realize nature of your mind, nature of your thoughts, you are very comfortable. Just only a thought process. Thoughts are arising and passing away. You can see right now. Experiencing peaceful mind. Mind is peaceful. Mind is calm. Now, slowly bring your attention to the nostrils. Just observe inhaling and exhaling. Slow, focus your breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Slowly focus your breath. Pay your proper attention to your breath. Inhaling, exhaling. While you are practicing breath meditation, whatever thoughts arise in your mind, just ignore and pay attention to your breath. Try to keep your mind in neutral state. Try to keep your mind balanced. Exhale your breath. Take this short breath or long breath. Oh, inhale and exhale. Your full attention with your breath. It is so comfortable and peaceful. Your peace mind with your concentrated mind. Now you can listen to the beautiful Dhamma.
Thank you. Very peaceful. Unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end. That's the end of the meditation. And hopefully we will get a little bit more inspiration. I did promise last week because one of the people asked the question, somebody who was new to Buddhism, has been listening to these talks and meditating in the beginning, like, and whose meditation was difficult, new, but now after a year of practicing and listening to Dhamma, was able to meditate well. And then they were saying, how much sense the Buddha's teaching was making. And for the last 4 weeks, we've been talking about the dependent origination, Paticca one of the most profound teachings. And then they were so inspired, and then they said, wow, it is so helpful for us. It is easy for us. The Buddha has discovered this and taught the Dhamma to us. All we got to do is practice. We have all the instructions. But how did the Buddha discover this deep Dhamma? This is astonishing. How did he discover it? So I did promise to talk about the discovery, which is also a very exciting topic. However, I also am very inspired to set the scene for all of us, including myself, to prepare our mind for the rains retreat, for the upcoming long meditation period. So I am a bit sorry, I may not take up that Buddha's awakening story, which I will bring up during the rains in a future Dhamma talk. But today I want to speak more about inclining the mind to seclusion. Yeah, because this is the coming to an end of a little bit of busy period. I mean, at Sant, it's never that busy, but still this is more inclination to seclusion, more staying in seclusion as well, because we all live in kutis, in little huts in the forest. And it is a really stunning time of the year. It's like there's an explosion of golden color in the forest, because all of the golden wattles are in bloom all at the same time. It's like an ocean of gold. And also beautiful, birds and all the wildlife here is also really beautiful. The weather isn't too bad. It is a bit cool, but there are not so cool days, not so cold days. Anyway, we have very nice wood fires in our kuti, so we are well, nice and warm. But also, as some of you who have been here, you know what a beautiful monastery this is. Yeah, we have beautiful cliff lookouts looking into the beautiful gullies and canyons. And then we also have many caves, not only the meditation hall cave, but we also have many other little caves. We have waterfalls. The waterfalls are flowing very beautiful. The big waterfall is massive at the moment. And it's such an idyllic conditions, especially as women, as nuns, these kinds of places and opportunities are so very rare, where we could still practice just like the time of the Buddha, how the monks and the nuns practiced in the forest, in simplicity, with the beauty. I mean, I read so much about the beauty, but if you read about Theri Gatha, Thera Gatha, these are the beautiful inspired utterances of monks and nuns as they became enlightened. A lot of them talks about the beauty of nature. Yeah, it is nice for us to actually appreciate the beauty of nature, a way of brightening and relaxing our mind. Nature is not very sensual. Even that can be beautiful. It is not a very distracting or disturbing or harmful type of sensuality. So we can still appreciate the beauty that surrounds us as we go for walks, the little creatures that we meet, and things like that, and in seclusion. So mostly staying in our huts. But so therefore I thought to talk a little bit about how much and what the Buddha said about seclusion. So I have a couple of suttas and some verses that I would like to share. And let's see how this talk develops. Okay, so if you remember, I'm going to connect this still to the series of talks we have been doing. And during the dependent origination, during the Avijja Sutta, yeah, if you remember, that's not the last one, the week before, we discovered the root cause, the problem, why we have Avijja or delusion was because we have been associating unwise people or fools, right? that was that sequence that went. And also we say the ending of delusion and enlightenment possible when we associate with wise people, good friends or kalyana mittas or sappurisa, yeah? So meeting of kalyana mittas or good friends, wise people who teach us the Buddha's teachings, meeting the Buddha himself if he was available, if not at least meeting the Dhamma, his teaching, is how, that is the starting point of ending this delusion, the suffering, the big problem. So I'm going to connect that in this sutta and you will see that, right? Okay. So this is a sutta from Connected Discourses, Samyutta Nikaya, chapter 45, sutta number 2. Chapter 45 is Magga Samyutta. It is on the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. So all the suttas there is about that. And the name of the sutta is Half the Holy Life. Right? So I'm going to read it out and let's see how it goes. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Sakyans, where there was a town of Sakyans named Nagaraka. Then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One. Having approached, he paid homage to the Blessed One, sat down to one side, and said to him, Venerable Sir, this is half the holy life, that is, good friendship, good companionship, good comradeship. So the Buddha says, not so Ananda, not so Ananda. This is the entire holy life, Ananda. That is good friendship, good companionship, good comradeship. When a bhikkhu has a good friend, a good companion, a good comrade, it is to be expected that he will develop and cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path. So during our last Paticca session also, we saw where the Noble Eightfold Path was coming in. Last time was the transcendental dependent origination based on the Upanishad Sutta, right? So we saw how starting from suffering, we got confidence. And then based on our confidence was because we have listened to the Dhamma, right? There was that place I mentioned where the Noble Eightfold Path is there, right? Because we search and we find a wise person, they teach us the Dhamma and we apply the Dhamma and we can also see how it is working. And then the confidence came. Yeah, from confidence, then it went to Pamoja, the uplifted mind. So just recapping that to connect. So when you meet a wise person, you get to hear know about the Noble Eightfold Path, and you can also develop the Noble Eightfold Path as a result. And how, Ananda, does a bhikkhu who has a good friend, a good companion, a good comrade, develop and cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path here? Here, Ananda, a bhikkhu develops right view, which is based upon seclusion, dispassion, cessation, maturing in release. So this is where I want to stop because we all know the Noble Eightfold Path. I will just mention the 8 factors. So there is right view, sammaditthi, right intention, samkappa, and then right speech, samma vaca, samma kammanta, right action, Samma Ajiva, that is your livelihood, and Samma Vayama, which is your right effort, Samma Sati, right mindfulness, and Samma Samadhi, right stillness, yeah, the meditation. So this talk is not going to be about the Noble Eightfold Path, but how it is developed, because this is a very important point. So in this sutta, the Buddha says, I will go a few more and then just to show, okay, then the Buddha says here, and then he goes, he develops right intention, yeah, which is based upon seclusion, dispassion, cessation, maturing in release. Then he says, he developed right speech. All of these, every section, every factor, after the factor, he says it has been developed based upon seclusion, dispassion, cessation, maturing in release. So this is the part that is very important, because we all hear about developing, but how is it developed? It is developed based on four foundations. And this is in Pali, you have heard this before. I mention this again and again because it is so important. This is Viveka Nisita, Viraga Nisita, Nirodha Nisita, Vassagga Parinami. So Viveka is based on seclusion. Viraga is based on dispassion. Nirodha is based on cessation, and maturing in release is Vassagga Parinami. So these four things are very important. Let's see how far we go in explaining the last three, but I'm going to mainly focus on seclusion because this is the starting point and this is important to get right. And this is why we are here, entering into a rains retreat. And those of you who are at home can also figure out how you can enter seclusion. It is possible, yeah? It is possible. And how even those of us who are here in the beautiful forest cannot be in seclusion if we do the wrong thing. So it is important to understand what is seclusion and how we practice in seclusion or develop seclusion. Okay, so for that, I'm going to use this other sutta. And this sutta is in linked discourses, that is numerical discourses, book 9. Is it linked discourses? 9.1. It's called In the Woods. Yeah, okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. So in this sutta, the Buddha says, so I have heard at one time, one of the mendicants was staying in the land of the Kosalans in a certain forest grove, right? Now at that time, that mendicant during their day's meditation was thinking bad, unskillful thoughts to do with the domestic life. The deity haunting that forest had sympathy for that mendicant and wanted what's best for him. So they approached that mendicant, wanting to stir them up and address them in verse. So in other words, so there was a monk or a nun who had gone into a forest, into seclusion, because seclusion starts from going away from the city life, right? Hustle and bustle of the city and the world and the domestic life. They leave all of that, enter into a forest and stay by themselves. And yet they're now alone there. In their mind, they were having all kinds of unskillful thoughts, and probably also about sensuality, maybe even sexuality as well, because connected with domestic life, it says here, right? So maybe fantasizing and also thinking about all kinds of unskillful things that are leading you away from seclusion. So this is then because we think this is also a very important point, right? So most people are very careful with what they do with their body because they're worried that other people might see, so they're ashamed. speech also, they try their very best to guard because other people can hear. But with the mind, people think, I can think what I want, however I want, for however long. But be very careful, right? Because there are also devas, right? There are also non-human beings that stay around in forest groves and in other places too, everywhere. They are there and they can read our minds, yeah, and they know what's going on. And there was this deva who saw this monk or nun sitting in seclusion but thinking about all kinds of unskillful things. So the deva had compassion for the monastic. I mean, they understand, I mean, as yet unenlightened, sometimes defilements can come. So it's a good deva thought, oh, I might stir some urgency, some, something, up for this, stir him up. And incline their mind into seclusion. So the Deva says this in verse: you entered the woods desiring seclusion, yet your mind strays to outward things. As a person, you should dispel the desire for people. Then you will be happy, free of greed. Mindful, give up discontent. Because this is what happened, isn't it? When we desire for things, the mind is no longer in contentment. Yeah, discontent is a terrible state. We all know about that, right? How we could be peaceful when we are contented, and suddenly we think about want a cup of tea. Or want some chocolate, or whatever it is, even something simple, let alone desiring people, the discontentment, then you are completely in a lot of suffering. Let us remind you of the way the good. The dusty abyss is so hard to cross. Don't let sensual dust drag you down. Just as a bird striven with dirt sheds that clingy dust with a shake, so too an energetic, mindful mendicant sheds that clingy dust with a shake. Impelled by that deity, that mendicant was struck with a sense of urgency. Right? Quite a beautiful kind of metaphor, right? Sometimes we think it is really hard, but it is actually not hard. The moment you get a little bit of mindfulness, in this occasion with the help of somebody reminding you, look, you came here to meditate, to be in seclusion. Sometimes we all have to work really hard to, arrange the time, especially for the lay people who also come to be here, get the tickets, so many, things to arrange to be here. But sometimes this happens, even going on retreats and things, they go into so much difficult to arrange everything. But once you are in seclusion, then after a while you get a bit bored and the mind starts to go into all sorts of things. This will happen for all of us from time to time. But the thing is, when that happens, to catch it. Yeah, when you catch it, then you realize, look, this is not helpful. This is not why I am here, especially for us monastics. This is not why we went forth into monastic life. And then it is not that difficult. The moment we remember that, and also we realize the danger, the damage it's going to do us, right? The echoes of that thinking, the fantasy or whatever, is going to really disturb our peace, our meditation. So when we, reflect on the danger that it does, then you can shake it off. Yeah, if you do that reflection quite powerfully, it is like the bird shaking off the dust. You can do that. Yeah, it is possible to remember that, not to just give in to that and indulge in and make it more. The sooner you catch it, the easier it is. At any level, it is still possible. You have to work your way through, and you can do it. So this is how you're not in seclusion. Even though your body is in seclusion, it is in a nice secluded place away from the busyness and in the forest, but yet your mind is not alone. In another place also, I think Mogaraja Sutta or something, the Buddha says also, even if you are by yourself, if you have these kinds of thought, you are living with somebody else called craving. Craving is your partner. So you're living with another person called craving. So let us remind ourselves, how to spend these 3 months. Yeah, I mean, this will happen regardless, because this is the nature of our mind. Also, the Mara is there, will try to poke us. But our job is to catch ourselves and shake that sensual dust and get back. Not just sensuality, but ill will, negativity, sloth and torpor. All of these defilements, all of the hindrances can come. So when they come, this is what to be done, because it is also easy to start fault finding, right? When you're in a community with other people, every little thing also, we can become unappreciative, ungrateful, and start complaining about things. It's amazing how small things can become very big, and you can have plenty of time to think all sort of stories and ruin your own mind and lose a lot of mental energy. So the idea is to catch ourselves when this is happening and deal with it. There are many ways we've spoken about how to deal with these things, and use many skillful ways to, shed it off as soon as possible and bring the mind to seclusion. So there was a really important sutta. However, I didn't print it out, but I forgot to bring the book, and the computer is so far away from me. Not that book. And it would have been great to talk about it, but what to do? Can you bring it for me? I think it is, you can bring Anguttara. Is it okay? So in the meantime, I'm going to read out a few verses. Yeah. So Venerable Therika so kindly is going to bring us the book for the other sutta that I forgot to bring the book for. And last Saturday, here we had the Lankarama youth group. So we had about 25 young girls and boys aged between 18 to about 25, which was really inspiring, right? They come on their own, wake up early in the morning to be here, because it's about 2 hours drive from Sydney. They're all here by 9:30, bringing us dana. And then they also wanted to have meditation and Dhamma talk. And it was such a beautiful day, right? It was a really beautiful day, but the days before that has rained. So our cave was quite wet and dripping. So usually when they come, we go to the cave to do some meditation, but that Saturday, it was not possible. Then we thought, why not we go into the national park? Because we have no boundaries with the Moreton National Park, which is a few thousand hectares, right? And we have the privilege of using and going there. So then we all went down to the Erit Coal Mines waterfall, which is the biggest waterfall around here, which we share with the national park. So we went down there. And then it's very powerful because of the rain. There was a lot of water. And if you're at the bottom of a waterfall, it's not easy to get to bottom of many waterfalls, because some of the waterfalls you can only look from the side or from the top. But this waterfall, you can actually reach, thank you very much, Venerable. We can actually reach the very bottom. And you hear the water thundering down, splashing, and it's very grounding. Even though it's loud, but you know how young people's minds can be, right? But the waterfall is louder than the mind, but it is very grounding. So we had a session, so we meditated there at the bottom of the waterfall. And then we asked how it was. And they said, wow, it was amazing. Like, with the elements, with the nature, how easy it was for them to stay in the present moment. Because before we went down to the waterfall, we had a little bit of a briefing. We just stood in the car park kind of area, and I read out a couple of verses. So it was about staying in present moment, right? So we did that, and then we went in there, and we had meditation there. And then we came back up, and then we went into a very beautiful rock outcrop. There's a large flat area. We all sat there and had a little bit of a Dhamma talk, but not much Dhamma, just a little bit, because the environment was so nice to actually practice. Because Dhamma talks available on YouTube, plenty. But the opportunity to practice was what is necessary. So even when we asked the young people what would they like to do, they said, actually, they would like to meditate more. I said, 5 minutes? 10, 15 is also okay, which is quite a lot of time for them. So again, we meditated there, right? So it's really nice. So for all of you as well during this time, I mean, Australia is so beautiful, and so are many other places in the world. For many people, within about, 15, 20 minutes drive or even walk or a bike ride, you can get to a patch of nature, to a little lake, for a river, to the ocean, or to even like a forest grove. It is possible, or even a park, yeah? If it is possible, try and see, because when you go into a bit of nature, the nature is incredibly calming. There is something there, which is why the Buddha always said, yeah, whenever the Buddha said about meditation, especially sitting meditation, any kind of serious meditation, aranyagatowa, rukkamulagatowa, sunyagaragatova. So aranya means a forest, yeah. So rukkamula is at the foot of a tree. She always recommended these kind of places, and sunyagara is an empty hut, hopefully empty hut in a forest. So it's not because of anything. He said this because it is important. And he did mention how important it is to go into seclusion. Now that I have this sutta, I'm going to explain. The Buddha talks about 3 different types of seclusion. Okay. So this is in Numerical Discourses, Anguttara Nikaya, chapter 3, that is book 3, sutta number 93, called Solitude. Okay, so I'm going to read what solitude is, how the Buddha describes 3 different types of solitude. So this is where you can understand how to be in solitude, seclusion, solitude, similar kind of words. So it is paviveka, the Pali word. Yeah. So because we started saying that Noble Eightfold Path is to be practiced viveka nisita. So we are still on that theme of understanding what is viveka or paviveka, yeah, solitude or seclusion. So this is what the Buddha says. Bhikkhus, wanderers of other sects prescribe these 3 kinds of solitude. What 3? Solitude with respect to robes, solitude with respect to alms food, solitude with respect to lodgings. So I'm going to skip that bit because that is not that important, but I'm going to extract the bit that is about what is according to the Dhamma. In this Dhamma and discipline, bhikkhus, there are these 3 kinds of solitude for a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni. What 3? So the number 1, here, a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni is virtuous, that is sila. He or she has abandoned immorality and remain secluded from it. So this is the first kind of seclusion, yeah? So the first kind of solitude is abandoning immorality, yeah? Abandoning immorality is all of the unskillful things, right? So whatever, in a nutshell, sila in a nutshell, is whatever you do by body, speech, and mind. Is it harmful or hurtful for oneself, to the others, or to both parties? So if that is, then that is unskillful or immoral, yeah? It can be. It is not just the precepts. Of course, the precepts are the basic guidelines. So if you are breaking the precepts, then that is immoral. But it is more than just the precepts, because you can keep the precepts and frown at somebody, be sarcastic, pinch somebody, or even hit somebody, right? Even kick somebody, not breaking the precept. But That is not nice, that is not kind, and that would be immoral, right? Just to give an idea. So 5 precepts is easy to keep, but it is not enough, yeah? So this is more than that. So that is why the guideline is what you do by body, speech, and mind. And is it harmful or hurtful? And if not, then you are in solitude. Isn't that great? So maybe going into a forest grove for the next 3 months might be difficult for some of you who need to go to work, but you can up your solitude by making a determination to be more virtuous, keep up your sila, yeah? So this is possible. So one type of solitude that you can take up for these 3 months, and it is incredible, yeah? Actually, when, I always say this, yeah? Being good feels good, isn't it? Being bad feels bad when you snap back at somebody, kick somebody, be sarcastic to somebody. It doesn't feel good, right? It might feel nice at the time, but when you go back to your room, to your home, when you're alone, oh, it all comes back and it's kind of yucky. The mind is quite yucky then. But being good feels good if you spoke nicely, if you're kind, if you're helpful, you see the silver lining in things, have gratitude for people, have appreciation instead of complaining mind. This kind of thing, this kind of mind is so beautiful, so energetic. So this is the beauty of solitude coming from Sila. So it goes a long way and the starting point of your meditation, yeah? Sila is a foundation for meditation, also for mindfulness, because the two cornerstones for Sammasati is Sila and Sammaditthi, yeah, Ujjukaditti. So these two are cornerstones. So it's really important to understand this. So solitude by removing immorality, solitude from immorality. So for us as well, this is really important. We can also take up as we enter tomorrow, being the first day of our rains retreat, to up our sila. So in short, being good feels good can be our motto. One of the things to remember, yeah, to work with. Then we are in solitude. And the second one, he holds right view. He or she has abandoned wrong view and remains secluded from it. So this is the power of right view. Yeah. So this is, of course, to do it properly is stream entry. Yeah. So the first stage of enlightenment, because that's somebody who is established in right view. But never mind getting into stream entry, we can still develop more and more right view, and more importantly, try and abandon more and more wrong views, because we have plenty wrong views, right? Plenty of wrong views, because being established in right view is stream entry. That is the first stage. But starting to abandon wrong views, that is the starting point. So we are getting more and more into solitude by abandoning wrong views. So catching the wrong views, learning about the wrong views. So this is when we are just thinking, how are we thinking? What are we thinking? Why are we thinking? Where did these ideas come from? Where did these views, perceptions, conventions come from? Are they in line with the teaching of the Buddha, or are they going in the opposite direction? And we will see quite a lot of things that we take on board are bursts, are born from the worldly things, from based on the three unwholesome roots, raga, dosa, moha, desire, ill will, and ignorance. Yeah, these are the places where a lot of the worldly views are based. It's not like bad things for the worldly usage, but they may be leading us in the wrong direction. So we can start the process of being solitude from wrong view. So this is also another thing that everybody can take up. You don't have to be in a retreat, you don't have to be in a forest, but these 3 months, make it a goal to also catch yourself and find out what are the wrong views I have. Yeah, and see more and more, and see how can I replace them with right view? How can I abandon these wrong views? And you will see how much joy, how much energy you will get in our mind, because wrong views is what drains us down. Yeah, thinking in negativity, all these other ways of draining our minds, they're all based on wrong views. Yeah, so catching these wrong views, abandoning them, and also taking up the opposite, the right view, building up slowly, and we will be entering more and more into solitude. And of course, it will culminate in our stream entry, or first stage of enlightenment. Isn't that great? That, I think, is a good idea. And then the third one, he or she is whose taints are destroyed. He or she has abandoned the taints and remains secluded from them. So this is full enlightenment. Yes. Yeah. What is the Sinhala Pali word for taints? Is that asava? Asava. Yeah. So asavakya. Yeah. So that is full enlightenment. But we can still work towards that. Yeah. We can, as we meditate, as we practice, then we will get more and more. At least times when we get stillness, and even these hindrances and defilements are temporary down, it's a good starting point. Yeah, the Buddha says the jhana states are like, seeing they're called bodhi, some bodhisukha. Yeah, some bodhisukha. You can experience the sukha of abandoning temporary. So it's not completely gone, so not complete solitude, but we can still, head in that direction. But the first one is easier. Yeah. And the second one, we can still something that we can work with. And third one will come as we progress more. And who knows, as your meditation grows, all of these things are possible. So the Buddha goes on to say, yeah, when a bhikkhu is virtuous, one who has abandoned immorality and remains secluded from it, when he is one of right view, who has abandoned wrong view and remains secluded from it, when he is one whose taints are destroyed, who has abandoned the taints and remains secluded from them, he is then called a bhikkhu who has attained the foremost, attained the core, one who is pure and established in the core. So that is a fully enlightened being. So quite nice to incline our mind, right? Because we all have the potential. Some time ago, I did a series. I never completed it. Maybe I will do it again on Karaniya Metta Sutta. Metta Sutta, yeah, which has about, I think, 13 or 14 qualities that they say is necessary to start developing metta and this path. And the thing is, when we see those qualities, all of them we all have to different degrees. So how I see it, it's like little seeds, yeah, that gives rise to different types of plants. Some of us have some qualities grown in different stages. Some trees are bigger, for some are small little seedlings. But as you give nourishment, as you look after, they will all grow. In other words, we all have the potential for awakening, right? We all have the potential for that. So all we need to do is nurture and grow and build this up. So this is now building the foundations. Yeah, Vivekanisiddha, one of the most important foundations, the 4 foundations, because not only the Noble Eightfold Path, if you look into chapter 43, I also have the reference written down here somewhere. Maybe not, but anyway, which is where also the Buddha says these 4 foundations are mentioned for developing the 37 Bodhipakya Dhamma. So there are 37 factors for awakening. All of them, that means everything that we do, that we develop and cultivate, are to be done based on these 4 foundations. So the number 1 is the most important one. Without number 1, you can't also go to number 2, which is why this is starting point, right? You can see, starting with the seclusion of the body, kaya viveka, which is you go away from the hustle and bustle of the city into a forest, to an empty heart, or to a foot of a tree. But that itself isn't enough, because if your mind is still thinking about unskillful things, then you're still not in seclusion. Your body is, but body is not what gets enlightened, it is the mind, right? But we are all very good at running to seclusion for the body, but it is not enough, which is why the Buddha shows here the true solitude is the solitude of the mind, and it starts from sila, from virtue, right? So abandoning immorality, starting from that, and then abandoning wrong view, and then abandoning the things. Yeah, so this is really, really beautiful. So, and then the Buddha gives a really beautiful simile here. Suppose, bhikkhus, there is a farmer whose field of hill rice has ripened. The farmer would swiftly have the plant cut. Then he would swiftly have the plants collected. Then he would swiftly have them transported to the threshing place. Then he would swiftly pile them up, have them threshed, get the straw removed, get the chaff removed, and winnow it. Chaff? Chaff, okay. We know it. Then he would swiftly have it brought over, get it pounded, and get the husks removed. In this way, the farmer's grains of rice would be foremost, attain the core, pure and established in core. So too, bhikkhus, when a bhikkhu who is virtuous, one of right view, one who has abandoned the taints and remains secluded from them, he is then called a bhikkhu who is foremost, attained to the core, pure and established in the core. So this is just in short showing how just solitude as a way of reaching all the way to awakening. So awakening is starting there. But because time is running out as usual, but I will mention very briefly what the meaning of the other four, but not go into detail. So viraga. So maybe you know what is raga, right? Raga is passion or lust. Viraga is not having passion, not having lust, not having desire. So non-desire, yeah, ending of desire. So fading away, yeah, it is called as well. Fading away of our desire, starting from the sensual world, yeah. Our desire for the sensual world is one of the biggest things to this body, to other bodies, to the things of the sensual world. So viraga is going away from that. So you can see, starting from the solitude sequence, then, so when you come into the good seclusion, then as you practice with both reflections, patisamkana bala, which is reflecting in the right way, seeing the danger of things, developing the right kind of perceptions, and then also meditating. As you do this, your desire for the sensual world starts to fade away. Yeah, so as your mind is inclined to fading away of your desire, then that is how we are to develop the Noble Eightfold Path, or all the factors of the factors for awakening, the 37 factors. Nirodha. Nirodha means cessation. So that is when all of those things are coming to an end, ceasing. Yeah, so coming to an end, that is cessation. And Vasagga Parinaming is that the mind is inclined towards Nibbana. Yeah, complete giving up, complete ending. So this is in very brief, but it is important. If somebody thinks, I'm not yet ready to get enlightened, I'm not interested in complete abandoning of all of these things. I want to have my, all of my things and also get it, have good meditation. Well, that's not how it works. Yeah. So this is what the Buddha is saying here. So we have to have our mind ready. We can't have that, strong grasp into the sensual world, to our people and our things, and then expect to get good meditation and get into enlightenment. We have to have our mind inclined towards and allowing things to fade away, allowing things to vanish and completely come to an end, and a mind inclined towards Nibbana. right? So this is the way that we develop the Noble Eightfold Path, and Noble Eightfold Path is part of the 37 factors of enlightenment, so all of the factors. So very important to remember. Viveka Nisitang, Viraga Nisitang, Nirodha Nisitang, Vasaga Parinam. Now that we know how to do Paviveka, so this is the main theme of today's talk. And since there is a little bit of time just for inspiration, because at the end of the day, that is what's going to get us there, especially for us here who is starting our race retreat. I'm going to read out maybe just one verse. This is from the Baddhekarata Sutta, which is from Majjhima Nikaya. I have forgotten the sutta number. But anyway, this is how it goes. Let one not trace back the past or yearn for the future yet to come. That which is past is left behind. Unattained is the yet to come. But that which is present, he discerns within sight as and when it comes. The immovable, the non-irritable, in that state should the wise one grow today itself. Should one bestir. Today itself should one bestir. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? For no bargain can we strike with the dead who has his mighty host. But one who dwells thus ardently, by day, by night, untiringly, him the tranquil sage has called the ideal lover of solitude. Yes, I want to wrap up this talk on seclusion or solitude with this really beautiful and inspiring verse by the Buddha. So just take a few moments to reflect what the Buddha is saying, right? So the past is already over. Only thing you can get from past is learn from your mistakes, but that does not require you to keep thinking about it and indulging in the past, right? So that's why the Buddha says, let go, because it's finished. What is the point? So do not trace back the past. It's not of much help. Or yearn for the future yet to come, because future is uncertain. We might not be alive by tomorrow or even this tonight. We don't know. So it's a waste of time thinking and worrying and planning too much into the future. You can do a little bit and put it aside and not spend too much time. But that which is past is left behind, unattained, the yet to come. But that which is present, also not to get too attached to the present, yeah? Not to get too indulgent with what is going on right now either, but instead discern with insight, yeah? Understand what is going on, seeing, the experiences, whatever feelings you have, whatever perceptions, whatever thought formations or sankharas, whatever that is happening, how they come to be, how they remain for a while, and they just pass away. Yeah, just this coming. So this is understanding, so you don't hold on to these things. In the lunchtime, Venerable Therika said a very beautiful Dhamma talk about this very factor. Maybe during the rains retreat, you will get to hear, maybe I will invite Venerable Therika to give a Dhamma talk for one of the Thursday nights. And this is one of her very specialities among many others, how to discern with insight, yeah, the present moment. And that is really beautiful. And if we are doing that, we are not being heedless, and we are ready, because we have no time to lose, yeah? Because we don't know when death comes, and when death comes, we can't say, please give me 5 minutes, I'm not ready. No, no asking for anything. No bargaining is possible. So therefore, we have to be, putting in this effort into to practice, yeah, by day, by night, untiringly, yeah. And that when we are doing, then the Buddha says is an ideal lover of solitude. So what are these things that we have to do ardently, day by day and by night? So one of the things according to this verse is not to waste time thinking about the past or waste time thinking about the future, and instead spending time discerning even the present moment with insight rather than getting attached to it. And aside from that, we also spoke about solitude, and that is, taking care of your sila, working with your sila, outside of, because this part is mostly for meditation, but also during your day-to-day also you can catch yourself more and more, and instead of living in the past or living in the future, you can be with what you're doing, so you also become more efficient, you maintain your mental energy, you become really bright and able to meditate when you're finished with your chores. So, but apart from that, because also the ideal lover of solitude, we can combine what the Buddha says in the other sutta, where he explained what solitude is, the 3 types of solitude. So you can also work with, increasing our sila, our virtuous behavior, being good feels good, and also abandoning our wrong views. And working with that much is good. Yeah. The taints will then come to an end. Asavakya Jnana will come eventually. So I would like to stop here, and there is still a bit of time. So anybody is welcome to ask questions. Unfortunately, it's very hard unless Venerable Therika, I'm not very mobile right now to look into the chat, but it is better if you can unmute and ask any questions, and there's 4 nuns here, they can all answer. So you're welcome.
First of all, we need to acknowledge another brilliant talk by Ajahn Karunika, and invite you all to say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
I think it is the sign of an excellent talk if people don't have questions.
If nobody else is asking, I'm going to ask a question from Ayya Therika. Yeah, can you maybe you can give a full Dhamma talk later, but that people can get a good flavor. Maybe explain how we discern the present moment with insight, like with the Panchupadana or with the Nama Rupa, whichever way.
Yes.
Just a little bit of that, because that would be very helpful, I feel.
Yes. According to Ayya Karunika's Dhamma talk, it's a privilege for us to discuss this special topic, how to practice insight meditation, especially at the very moment, in the present moment, how to practice vipassana meditation, insight meditation. According to Baddekaratta Sutta, our great teacher Lord Buddha mentioned you have to understand and realize 5 khandha, 5 aggregates as it is. Especially all you know, what are the 5 khandhas? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. The Rupa is form, Vedana, feelings, Sanya, perceptions, Sankara, volition, volition, and we can, very simply, we can say thoughts, and Vijnana, consciousness. These five khandhas, very important. Why is that? We know well, we call I, me, and I factor always we think there is a person, there is someone. In Pali, we can call Sakkaya Ditti. Sakkaya Ditti. This is wrong view, and this is the misperception to realize five khandha and nature of five khandhas. You have to understand, you have to see present moment, especially what is happening right now while we are talking, while we are listening. What is happening right now at the very present moment? While you are listening, your ear consciousness arises. You know very well, this ear consciousness arose because of some causes. Behind, there are some causes. Sound and ear, those are the roots, those are the causes to arise ear consciousness. Now, all we are experiencing while listening to this Dhamma talk, as an example, Ayya Karunika's Dhamma talk now over, finished. Let's see what was happened. We listened to that Dhamma talk very well. While we were listening, ear consciousness arose. What is happening to that ear consciousness? What happened? Still, are you having that ear consciousness? No. Now, ear consciousness already gone. While we were listening to that Dhamma talk, we were so happy. It means the pleasant feelings arose in our mind. What happened to that pleasant feeling? Pleasant or neutral feeling? Few minutes ago, that pleasant feeling or neutral feeling arose in our mind. But few minutes later, now we feel few minutes later, but at the right time, when we were listening to Dhamma talk, that pleasant feelings, Vedana, pleasant or neutral or unpleasant, whatever feelings, already gone. And you experienced, you understood well Dhamma perceptions when we were listening to that Dhamma talk. you experience, you got to know many Dhamma perceptions. What is the meaning of viraga? What is the meaning of nirodha? The Dhamma perceptions arose in our mind. Now already gone those perceptions. By the time we were listening, many thoughts arose in our mind, Dhamma thoughts. We are very happily listen to that Dhamma talk 1 hour. Then what happened to that thoughts? Already gone. Finished. We have to realize at the very moment, in this present moment, we should realize what is happening right now. What is the nature of our mind? We should realize as it is. Whatever you do, wherever you are, maybe you are in a good mood or bad mood, whatever you experience at the very present moment, you have to identify 5 khandhas. Then you have to investigate. This is feelings. This is perceptions. These are thoughts. These are body, form. These are consciousness. You have to identify in the present moment. Then you can realize there is no I, no me, not at all. Just 5 khandha arose and already passed away. You have to very clearly, you have to understand regarding 5 khandha, regarding 5 aggregates. It is arising in the present moment and passing away at the very moment. This is the way to realize nature of our body, nature of our mind, and what is the insight meditation? How should we practice insight meditation at the very moment? I think, yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's quite beautifully explained. Thank you. And let's just give you a flavor of what's to come in another longer talk. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming.